Hi, everybody. This is Kelly with the second topic of Blossom and Leap, and that would be on dealing. Dealing. How do we deal? We deal by creating these wonderful thing called defense mechanisms or coping mechanisms. They're kind of one and the same. Coping mechanisms are a little bit more positive versus negative, but we don't really need to label it. They're mechanisms regardless. And so coping mechanisms are, I'm just going to define this for you. It's basically a behavior you learned. It's a way of being that you became when something that you were in a stressful situation or external stimuli was very difficult for you to experience. So, and it was an ongoing thing that you were dealing with on a regular basis. An example of a mechanism that you might have created as a child, and this is usually when these mechanisms are created, is when you're a child. That's a very formidable time, as you know. So, a mechanism is something that is totally innate that you develop. So, say for example, you're in school and you are bullied every day by someone in school who has been mean to you every day. And that person made you cry or that person made you feel upset, and you went and you tried to talk to a grown up and it didn't work out very well, and you then developed a way of dealing um, as you went to school every day. And that is an example of becoming and having these mechanisms. Usually it's like this feeling of like, okay, I'm going to just be strong and be tough right back. And it starts to build that little emotional wall up so that you don't get hurt. And so there's an example of what a mechanism is. So whether you call them defense mechanisms or coping mechanisms, mechanisms are learned behaviors that you've acquired in dealing with your life. And some of those mechanisms are actually good, like, oh, I have to go for a walk every day, otherwise I go nuts kind of thing. Or some of them aren't. But when I speak of coping mechanisms, it's usually something that is innate, that you instinctually created. Your brain is really amazing like that, where you can create this experience. Kind of amazing. So that is what a mechanism is. Now, do you have them? Yes. Everybody has a mechanism. I'll tell you mine. I have been working on this mechanism and trying to chip away at this one for a little while now, and that is to trust. I am very distrustful because, again, I'm very self protective. And that is also a part of who I am astrologically, too. But maybe you can guess what my sign is after this. But because I am protective, I also find it difficult to trust because of experiences that I've had in my early childhood. And I'm trying to undo that damage for myself. That's me owning that. And you have to own your mechanism. You have to own what it is, whether you have a wall up, whether you have trust issues, or if you have this sense of like you just hole up, meaning you don't leave your house, you become agoraphobic, which is a problem, which can be a very serious problem if you don't get that treated. Please get that treated. Go talk to your MD and get some help for that. If you have some significant issues socially and getting out of your house, that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about mechanisms that you've created to protect yourself in life. Sometimes these mechanisms are really helpful. Like when you have to go to work and you have to put on your happy face, right? And you have to put on the face. It's a mask so that you mask how you feel so that you can get your work done, so that you compartmentalize your life a little bit. And so that's another term that I will explain a little later, but you're separating your work self from your home self. That is what compartmentalizing means. So you that's a version of a mechanism. These mechanisms, if you carry with them with you for too long, they can cause you a problem. Because if you have this wall up and you equally want to meet someone, say you're single and you want to meet someone, then how are you supposed to meet someone if you're always defensive and you're always on the ready to be mistrustful? And I understand about this because it's taken me a while to trust myself, like to trust others. I do trust myself now, but it does take some time to really dissolve these mechanisms to a more manageable place to have in your life. They're meant to be there for a reason. But when they overwhelm your life and they become too much of an institution in your life, where your life is your defense mechanism, then you're not really feeling that fulfillment now, are you? And those habits that you've developed, if the bad habits, the habits say that you were smoking or drinking, or those are all mechanisms too. They can be a part of that system to help you deal, and they are not very healthy for you, right? You have to think about the three questions if a skill or a mechanism is good for you. And so there's the three questions. Question number one: is this habit that I do every day helping me in the long run? In the long run, not in the short term immediate fix, but in the long term. Does this habit hurt me? Does this do something that makes me feel physically ill? That's a question to ask about the habit that you are partaking in. I want you to think about these answers and think about your questions on this one, because this is kind of important. So now that you get, and one more thing about another question that I want to make sure that you ask yourself, and does it make you feel bad about yourself? Because chances are, like mine was eating too much, binge eating. I used to be a big binge eater. I don't do that much anymore, but I used to be one. So I'm just giving you a little bit of how I was and how I am. Working on things, we are all works in progress, right? So those are the three questions I want you to ask yourself about your habits and your mechanisms and what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and talk to someone about that mechanism that you have in place that has been your way to defend yourself, your way to protect yourself from external forces. And so that is something I hope that you would consider to think about, talk about with a therapist if needed, talk about with a close friend who is not going to judge you for your habits, and talk it through. That's one of those things it's okay to talk it through. One more point I want to make about coping mechanisms. The more you are aware of what you have as a mechanism, the more in control of it you can be, and the more aware of it and mindful you are of making the changes you need in your life so that you can dissolve some of that wall or dissolve some of that mask that you wear, so that you can let people in and experiences come to you. So that's really, really important. Now for the good stuff. I want to talk about coping skills. Coping skills are all these wonderful things that you can do every day to cope with your everyday existence that are really what I like to call more proactive in nature. So coping skills can be of anything. It's the sky is the limit when it comes to these things. So for coping skills, I want you to think about anything that you've done in your past as a kid growing up, things that you've enjoyed doing, places you enjoyed going, all of these things. Really kind of explore it. But I'm going to give you just the generals right now of what to do and get you started with this. And again, this is yours. This is yours to do. So I hope you partake in these. I want to talk about getting physical. Not Olivia Newton-John's song, Let's Get Physical, but, well, yeah, let's get physical. Let's move. Let's walk. Let's dance. Let's, swim. I'm a swimmer. I love to walk. I love to dance. I love to, just move. Just move. Get up and move for 10 minutes and you'll feel better. It's an endorphin boost. Okay? There are so much material out there on the benefits of physical activity, and the biggest reasons is, and one of the most important things is your overall health and well-being, and not necessarily to lose weight. It can be, and it can happen, but it's more of the habits of just, getting up and moving, and you feel better, and it helps you to get through your day easier, and today I woke up and I was so tired, and what I needed to do was some self-care, which was to go to the gym and swim. That's what I do. And I'm like, I have to go. I have to go. It's become a way of life and a habit for me. So I love it. It makes me feel good. With getting physical, you want to also treat your vessel, this body, this form that you have inside, that treat it well. Put good food in it. Great food. Eat clean. Eat as clean as you can. Believe me, I enjoy my chips sometimes, and I enjoy my Hostess cupcakes sometimes, but most of the time I make concerted effort, and I'm mindful, and that's be another chapter of mindfulness, but I am mindful of what I'm putting in my mouth every day to make my vessel, I also know what makes me feel better. When I eat certain junky foods that are full in saturated fats and saltiness, I drag for the rest of the day. When I eat cleaner and I have more fruits and veggies and I have a more balanced way, I get my protein in, it keeps me from feeling hungry all the time, then I actually physically feel and mentally feel better. So clean eating is not just to get fit and not just to get slender. If you need to lose weight, that is fine, but and it's a great goal if it's something that you feel you need to have in your life and it's for health benefits, then that's great. But this is really more about just taking care and self-care and taking care of your body. So that's what we're doing. It holds this beautiful soul that you have. So take care of it. That's a great coping skill, and it helps you. It actually is a skill. I want you to think about getting spiritual for a moment. I'm going to devote an entire chapter to in your spirituality. And I have some things to say on that topic. So, but for the sake of actual skills that you can use every day, if you go to church, whether you go to sit outside on your lawn, whether you are a Presbyterian or a Muslim, it doesn't matter. If that is your belief system and it helps you and it gives you spirit and it speaks to you, just looking up and being open and knowing that not everything is within your control, and trust in your faith, your God, that they will see you through. And God helps you when you help yourself too. So to do all these other little things. So just remember that. You can't just go, help me, and not put something into it. But get that sense of prayer in your life and that sense of gratitude in your life. We're really blessed. We're really blessed. No matter how stressful life can be, remember your blessings. Okay? And now the fun parts. Going out and spending time with friends in like a nice social, easygoing way. Nothing serious and nothing deep here. Just a nice way to connect with people and have a little fun. We are so serious so often that we forget to have fun and go out, whether it's to dance, whether it's just to talk with someone and just to mingle. We forget how to do that, don't we? Because we do spend a lot of time on social media now, and I'm going to make a mention on this because this is really important. I've met a lot of really cool people on social media where when I was a stay-at-home mom and I was tethered to my house because of being a stay-at-home mom a lot of times, so I reached out to forums online and to connect with other people who are in similar situations as I am, and I met a lot of people. It is a really fun way to meet people. However, face-to-face conversation is so much better. It keeps you with those skills that you learned as a little kid before all this happened, before the internet. We learned how to be. We learned how to go and talk to people and be in front of people and say hi. Some people are shy, and I was very shy as a youngster. And And that's okay. But whatever fits and goes well with you, I'm sure you have your own friends in your life, in your real life, that you can turn to for a nice social retreat from time to time and to keep that social activity in your life, okay? If you have a, do you have a hobby? Get busy with it. You know, we spend so much time on social media, and I don't think that it's a bad thing in small doses, but really, I'm not on social media all day long. I'm really not. I have to take breaks from it. I even tell my friends I really need to get off Facebook right now because it can drag you down, right? And we've all experienced that drag. So I limit myself as a result now. It's really helpful in a lot of ways, but it's also a hindrance. So into doing things and having fun in your life. I know a photographer friend, and I know people who also are musicians like I am, who sing and who do theater and write like I do. And they just get up and out and they do things. Maybe you're good with your hands on arts and crafts and you like to knit or you like to woodwork. Anything keeps your brain away from that thing that you're always thinking about for a little while. It separates you from it. It's a really nice way to cope. I also want to offset this, that it can be a version of relaxation doing these hobbies, but I actually want you to think about relaxation. Now, you don't have to do like the meditation. I like to meditate. Meditating is fun for me. No, meditation is necessary for me. It stops me. I close down my mind. I have so much I'm thinking about all the time. I find it necessary to just turn it off. So I focus on my breath. And I really suggest either, if you're not into doing meditation, you don't have to be into meditation to meditate. If you run and you're a runner, that's a form of meditation. If you're a swimmer, your workout sessions can be a form of meditation because you're so focused on that one activity. But I really want you to relax your body too. So just like sit still and breathe. Go and sit in the woods somewhere and just kind of take in nature. Great way to relax. All right, I got to mention this because it is such a part of your life and it should be a part of your existence because it's all about balance here, folks, and without judgment. Getting sexual, and it doesn't mean actually doing the deed. It means feeling that sense of sensuality for both men and women and feeling in touch with yourself in that very vital way that you are with yourself without judgment, without any shame. There is no shame in it. This is a part of you. It's a part of your existence. If you're not in touch with who you are and what your preferences are and what speaks to you intimately, then how are you ever going to be okay with your partner in your life and your significant other if you're not aware and in touch with what you want? And it becomes a beautiful thing when you're able to be in touch, and it actually benefits your relationships, and it also benefits your own vitality if you're single and you're getting yourself out there again. So just keep that in mind, okay? Every one of these things, if you do in any kind of disproportionate time, like too much of anything's a good thing. It's a bad thing. But in moderation and part of your life and making it a part of your life now and then, or once a week or twice a week or whatever it may be that works best for you, go ahead and do it. And it's actually really a great way to reduce your stress. Okay? Reach out to someone. And I mean this, and this is the deep thought area. Deep thought time. Reach out to someone that's not going to judge you. Don't go with someone you know is a fair weather friend or an acquaintance. Someone you know that you can tell something to and they'll just listen. Reach out, and they may give you some helpful pointers, but mostly it's just for you to just get it out of you and out of you. So important. It helps to get rid of that stress and anxiety that you might have experienced with that. There are so many more in this book, but I really just wanted to give you these examples. I really want you to think about this final one that I'm going to mention, and that is about that mantra, that wording, that phrasing. I can do this. I can do this. No, really, I can do this. Everything's going to be okay. Whatever sentence that you need to say while you're breathing is a great way to reduce your stress. I am running out of time, but I hope these tips helped you, and I can't wait to see you again and we can do this again. Have a great day.